Hey y'all, it's Miss Kylie. I'm sitting in my sunroom, and I decided I was going to read the Lorax. So let's read the Lorax together. At the far end of town where the crickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing, excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the griggle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today, where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere far from the end of town where the griggle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler, don't knock at his door. He says he stays in the lurkin at the top of his store. He lurks in his lurkin, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffled moof. And on special dank big nights in August, he peeks out the shutters and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, in the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up his pail and makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in a grovelous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Slop! Down slips the whisper-my-phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he said, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days where the grass was still green and the ponds are still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swami swans rang in the space, one morning I came to this glorious place. And I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of truffula trees, mile after mile in their fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw broken barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the rippleless pond came a comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts were much softer than silk, and they had that sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill, with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I had chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am a Lorax, and I speak for the trees. Speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's the thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I've been quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed is something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or cover up your bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the sneed I had knitten was great. He happily brought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy, you never can tell what people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called on my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Wentler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road north niche, turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, the whole factory was built. The whole Wentler family was working full tilt. We were knitting sneeds, just as busy bees at the sound of chopping of truffle trees. Then, oh, baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree, and the time was too slow, so I quickly invented a super axe hatchet, which whacked off 4 truffle trees with one smacker. We were making sneeds 4 times as fast before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. Where did he go? But the next week he knocked on my office door. He snapped, I am the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please, but I'm also in charge of brown barbaloots who played in the shade in those barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffle fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, that's not enough truffle fruit to go around, and my poor barbaloots are getting all the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Wentler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagon, I biggered my loads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping from north to south to east to west to the north. I went on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes with the old nuisance. Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax. He coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffed. He snargled, he sniffed. Wentler, he cried with a crowfulous croak. Wentler, you're making such smuggless smoke. My poor swami swans, when they can't sing a note. No one can sing who's got smog in their throat. He's making a mess, ain't he? And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax. His dander was up. Let me say a few words about that gluppity-glup. Your machine chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup. Also sloppity-slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Wentler man, you. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hum. No more can they hum, for their gills are all glum, so I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fence and get woefully weary, in search of some water that isn't so smeary. You hear the things are bad just up at Lake Erie. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at that Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap, and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring and biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffle trees into sneeze, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the field came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffle tree of them all. They're all gone. Look, they've all been chopped down, except that one. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts and everyone all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under their smoke-smuggled stars. Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad backward glance, as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a roll of the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was a long, long ago, but each day since that day I've sat here and worried away. Through the years while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffulus seed, the last one of them all. You're in charge of the last of the truffulus seeds, and the truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. Thanks for listening. Bye, y'all.